Bada bing, bada boom. Oh wow, Ace is like literally right in time. How
Hey,
how perfect is that?
Hello.
Yo, dude.
I'm gonna go ahead and shut all my mic and stuff off. I can still hear you. Go ahead and start without me. I gotta
Okay,
get set up.
for sure. Also, if there's a way you can like turn down the audio on your end a little bit, you're like at a higher level than like most everyone else. But
Yeah, I'm
just
not all set up yet. When I do, it'll be
oh,
fine.
for
Just
sure, cool. All
all
right,
right.
cool. Good to know that Ace is here. And so let me continue with my whole spiel. Welcome. It is a Tuesday afternoon, and you're hanging with the Roll for Mischief crew. We are still in the midst of what we are calling Ellie's backstory, and we're kind of like weaving in Ellie's character's backstory into the events of the game that have already happened. And Drew is our intrepid dungeon master for this little interesting kind of like flashback flashing into the present at some point. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get it kicked off. What's up, Drew?
So,
What's up?
so during the parallel events in the campaign with Eridu and Aigna, we were being introduced to Thiala and Hilofax in this episode. A few weeks prior to that and the discovery of the massive ship filled with Warforged, we will join Ellie, Leovan, and Zelor on what might prove to be their final mission together before they splinter off and do other things. Several weeks prior to where we're going to start, Ellie, Leovan, and Zelor will have been continuing to track down where Ellie's mentor went. Master Comedes sent a message during the last session, and this message was essentially a cry for help. He'd been captured by unknown forces. He merely described them as a force to be reckoned with, and that he was being forced to work for them and make something terrible that he fears is going to be unleashed upon the world. For months, you have been searching, and a few weeks ago, you were contacted by a member of a small group that you know that Aigna works with and knows of. This group operating out of Twin Harbor and being operated by a very stern woman that you know can get things done. She tells you that you need to grab one of the ships leaving Twin Harbor and sail to a far-off port. At this port, you're going to rendezvous with a ship where the intel says that that's where the mentor is being kept. Master Comedes is being kept prisoner aboard the ship, and he's being delivered to a far-off island. That's the information that you have. You have journeyed for many a weary evening, trying to get to this port, and now you're here. You've been here for days, you managed to get the lay of the land, you've noticed an influx of dwarves and high elves. You've noticed that these two groups are keeping separate, but that there's quite a lot of them here. Boats keep coming in, docking, and then leaving within a day or so. This small island is far to the south. It's in a rather tropical region, and it goes by the name of Grulin. So this port island of Grulin is a bit of a trader's cove. It's not quite a place of ill repute, but you will get the occasional smuggler using this place for port. You'll find a mixture of official navies and the less reputable sort, mixing it up in the bars and taverns here. The ship that you are looking for is called the Argonautica, and it has pulled into port. You learn from your contacts that you've made over the last few days that they pulled into port an hour ago, and dwarves disembarked. And that's where we begin. You guys are in a tavern. This tavern is... Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna ask if it's called the Cornerstone.
It is.
No.
Oh, there's not a chain.
No.
This one is called... I haven't given it a name yet, so let's call it... let's call it the Yeth Hound.
Nice. Alright, so we're chilling in the Yeth Hound.
The old Yeti.
The old Yeth Hound. Leovan is drinking a very dark, almost blood red looking wine. And he is sipping it. It's like he's drank enough by this point where it's kind of like starting to stain his teeth. And he is very suspiciously looking at the rest of the patrons in the tavern and not really saying a whole lot, but looking very suspiciously at everyone.
For anybody who's been watching the podcast, if anybody can just or the videos, you can let me know what is the actual time passage from episode 5 to episode 8. Or 7, whatever episode we're paralleled in now.
We're in 7.
We're just before the start of 7.
Okay. And last time we were just before the start of episode 5, right?
Yes.
Does anybody know the exact passage of time?
I don't know the exact one.
No.
We usually sort of default to 2 to 3 weeks, unless we've got a specific, like, oh, it's been 2 months or 6 months or something. We've had some big jumps, so at the very least, we're looking at a month and a half.
There was no time passage between episode 6 and 7.
Right.
Oh, was there none?
Not for that
yeah.
one.
I remember, yeah.
There was also no time passage between episodes 7 and 8.
Oh, also.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So actually, maybe only like 2 weeks then. Like,
But
Messing up the system, guys.
episode 5 took some time. Like, that whole episode took a little while. And then I don't remember what happened in episode 6. This only matters because I was asked earlier a question by our good old dungeon master, and the answer to that question, it is relevant to Zalor and his motivations. Because as of now, Zalor is a father. The question becomes: has enough time passed that his son is born, or is his wife still pregnant? But in the time that's passed since our last adventure, Zellar's last adventure with Ellie, he has gotten officially married, and his wife is, I'm going to say, now pregnant, because I think that makes the most amount of sense in the time frame. They know it will be a son, as they have gone to see those who's, I was going to say the diviners, but I realized the dwarves may not focus too much on magic to look into birth. But yeah, then it'll be a son. He has named him Gaylor, and he is very, very proud that he will soon have a son. But has secretly explained to Ellie that he is concerned about raising a child in these times when there's so much unrest amongst the civilizations that they are connected closely with.
It's a trying time.
Yeah. Leovan probably has heard in passing about Zelor's son, but I don't know that they have a strong enough friendship yet for him to be like, hey, this is a thing that's happening. He might just be like, yeah, I guess you know.
And he wouldn't make a big deal out of it. He might just like nod his head a little bit and say, blessings.
So, reaching into his coat, Zaylor is going to pull out his own flask and screw off the top and hold it up and say, um, "A toast to my son."
To
And
the
then
young dwarf.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. So, there are several options of what you can do just now. You have been told that the Mentor is aboard this ship. You could just immediately try and board it. You could just fly into a blind rage and kill every dwarf that you can. You could try and gather some information if anyone
That-
here knows.
That is a very bad idea. We shouldn't. I feel like I might get caught up in the crossfire.
What? So at this point, what is Ellie's relationship with the dwarves in general? Like, because we kind of talked about it a lot off screen. We've not really talked about it off screen. So what's
With the dwarves in general?
Yeah.
It would certainly be strained. They've been getting more uncomfortable with outsiders entering and leaving their cities.
Mm-hmm.
But at no point have they been outwardly hostile, and they've not refused you to see your brother, but they've rearranged a few times.
right? Okay.
So I'd imagine that it would start to be getting frustrating dealing with them, but there's still sympathy for them given what they've been through, and also an understanding that they are looking after your brother.
Well, what do we want to do? Do we want to like get on the ship, or do we want to ask questions? Oh,
Leovan will speak up and just say something like, if you wish to have eyes on the ship, eyes, that I can provide. I can make it so that they hardly notice me at all. And I can locate your mentor.
Ah, an espionage mission. I like this.
yeah. I mean, that sounds
That is
good.
Stealth. I knew what I meant.
They won't even know I'm there.
I also pre-apologize for Zellar's voice. It will not be normal because I'm really congested and I've had a hard time finding his actual voice in the last few days.
That's cool.
Zeller's got a cold.
So what is it that you would do to not be seen?
I will take a form that, to be honest, I'm a bit more comfortable in.
Okay.
Right, you and your changing form thing.
Who would make any issue of a humble rat aboard a ship?
I should have called it. Once a rat, always a rat.
Thank you. Rats are more noble than you surface dwellers realize.
Zellar's gonna give Ellie just this look that says, "That wasn't a compliment."
He's turning it into one.
As he should.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to try and sneak on and just see if it's definitely in there, I guess.
Hmm. So, Leovin's never met Comedes.
Right.
So, he'll ask, what does this mentor of yours
Ooh.
look like?
Oh, okay. So can I make? I would like to make an object that shows his face like a hologram.
Oh, that's sick.
That's pretty cool.
And then, I mean, I feel like I'll have to sit there and sort of, kind of, hastily put it together on the top of the table, but it's fine. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I can't find the rest of it, but I can do it. It's basically like it's a static image, but
Okay. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that should be should be enough for Laven to get an idea of this guy. So yeah,
yeah.
Laven will take a look at this dude and scratch his chin and do his best to commit the face to memory. And he looks up at Ellie and just says something like, "Handsome. Truly.
Yeah, tell him that when you meet him.
If a rat could speak."
Yeah, I mean, you can take it with you if you want. The items, just in case.
Very well. He'll take the little hologrammy thing and put it into his robe pocket, or his leather armor kind of pocket, or something.
Oh.
In that time, Zella will be casting Find Familiar, and I'll have it also take the form of a rat. And that way we
Oh,
can have a few rats.
oh, little rat crew.
I'm also going to give you. I have sending stone. That's one of my magic items that I've got now. That I can
Oh,
make.
cool.
So I'll give Leathan one of the sending stones, so we can, like, if anything happens, I mean, you'll have to transform out of it and physically use it, but it's like an emergency thing.
I will only use this as a last resort. I prefer to not be noticed at all. And yes. But
Prefer that too.
thank you. Thank you.
Alright.
Well, cool.
What's the distance on sending stone? So we'd need to be. Don't know what the distance is on
I can look that up really quick. Sending stones. So it just casts the sending spell, which is the range is unlimited, actually.
Okay.
Nice.
You can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence. But yeah, it gets more complicated with planar messaging. That's awesome.
Okay. But then I guess for the familiar, we'll have to be within, we'll have to be close to the boat, I guess.
We'll have to be close to. I'm sorry, what?
There's a
they're
range
like-
with your familiar.
Yeah.
Have to be close to Laven?
No, the
Uh,
familiar.
So,
For Zelor's familiar to psychically communicate with Zelor, he needs to be within 100 feet.
Oh, yeah. But that means that I would Zella would have to be close, which I can do.
how?
While you sneak onto the boat, I'll find a place to conceal myself, and I won't be far off.
I mean, we could go and do sort of a bit of, checking out around the outside and seeing who the people are and trying to.
I'll
obviously-
tip my hat, and I'll say, I don't think they'll have an easy time recognizing me for what I am.
True.
Which does mean that Zelor's plan is to find a guard, incapacitate them, and then, stow them away somewhere and take their appearance.
Tricky.
There's a reason why he's a thief, rogue.
Yeah.
Thief. This is first edition. Badass thief with a hat of disguise. Also, because this is awesome, he has, and you wouldn't see it because he's sort of hidden them, but he's got these mechanical devices that Ellie made for him that allow him to shoot projectiles from his wrists.
Oh, wow.
So kind of like wrist-mounted crossbows,
Uh-huh.
but
Dope.
a little more sneaky, a little easier to conceal than that.
That's sick.
Cool.
Man, Ellie's awesome. Just making all this
I mean,
cool
I
shit.
I didn't know I'd done that, but.
Yeah, that's because that conversation happened while you weren't around.
Oh.
Because
Oh,
GMs get to decide what players get to do.
For sure. Okay, so we have a general plan of what we're doing, guys. Can we head toward the dock?
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
I will have left the new and improved Agnes under a big tarp outside the.
Isn't his name just like Ian
Ein.
Ein?
Yeah, I. Yeah,
Ian
she shot that
Ian.
down.
The new and improved Ein.
Ein.
Yeah.
Oh, Ein. We
You can
like
do
you.
electrical attacks now.
Ooh.
Okay. So just for clarification, to make sure I'm understanding everything, Laven's, while shaping into a rat, going towards the ship and seeing if he can find the mentor. Zelor is sending his familiar also onto the ship. But is Zelor also disguising himself as a...
Yeah,
member?
Zelor is going to disguise himself as like a guard or a deckhand, so he can just walk around the dock near the ship and stay within 100 feet of the ship itself. I can't promise that I'll be 100 feet of my rat because the size of the ship to keep into account as well, but
Okay.
that's the goal.
I'm going to ask you for an investigation check.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Ooh, I just
but
got expertise in that.
Nice. Nice.
I'll say that you could make it with either intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, depending on how you want to approach it.
Okay. I'm gonna go with intelligence because that's my higher of the stats, which
Okay.
is the normal investigation thing, right? No,
Yes.
investigation is normally intelligence. Yeah. Um, and I'm gonna justify it by just keeping a moment to. This is for me to find someone to impersonate, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just take some time to just study, and then time as much time as I need to just study the patrols and see what sort of position would give me the best justification for being close to the boat. Um, whether that be like a deckhand or someone who's doing repairs or a guard who's patrol just keeps them close to the boat. And my total roll is a 15.
Right. So you do find someone who you feel is from the ship. You see that there is a crowd of people by a tackle shop that's selling all sorts of rudimentary and cheap fishing supplies. And you pick one of them to impersonate. So you'll be able to, from like around a corner, you can see them clearly. You can make yourself look like them, and then move on to the ship. They don't look like they're heading towards the ship anytime soon.
All right. Yeah, so I take on that person's form. So it looks like they've gone the other way, so I'm not worried about us crossing paths. Okay. Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll look like this person. What do I look like?
You look a little bit taller, a more bushy beard. It's also got streaks of grey throughout it. You've got crow's feet at your eyes, very big rosy cheeks, and you're a bit more plump around the middle.
All right. Now I know what I'm gonna be like in a few years. Okay. I'm a deckhand, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna find some sort of mundane task to look like I'm busy at, and then I'm going to roll a performance check as my. I mean, I guess I could roll stealth, but I think performance makes more sense in this situation. To pretend to be something that I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 15.
Could be performance, could be deception, depending on how you want to think of it. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with performance because that I'm pretending to do something.
Yeah.
I'm performing. I'm putting on a show. Deception would be a better choice for me,
For
but
talking, that'd
Yeah.
make more sense. Yeah.
I'd say either a performance or a charisma-based stealth check. You're trying to stay hidden through body language and performance.
I mean, yeah, if I did that, it would be higher. So I rolled a 14, and my charisma-based stealth check would be a +7, so that would be a 20 through 21.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Right,
Yep.
let's... Okay. So you're heading towards the ship, doing deckhandy things along the way. Is that...
That sounds about right.
Yep. Okay.
Deckhandy is a proper word.
Yep. Just whenever you see like a loose bit of rope, you just quickly tie it around something and move on.
Yeah, who knows if Zilor actually knows anything about boats? Yeah, he might. He's been around the Tranquility crew, being that he's been hanging out with Ellie.
Yeah, I think if you just keep coiling rope, it looks good. Looks good.
I
Yeah,
also-
just making sure rope is
Yeah.
coiled.
You can't live on Twin Harbors and not learn a thing or two about boats. It just doesn't work like that.
True.
Mm.
True.
Very, very true. Right, so you're heading closer to the ship. Leovin, are you and Zelor's familiar staying close to Zelor in this new form, or are you all like splitting up before you even get to the ship?
I think maybe I would have tried to tell Zelor before we started on this whole thing. Try to tell him, like, you take the front, I'll take the back, or I'll take the front, you take the back, like vice versa. However we want to split it up, I think that Leovin would have wanted to say, like, let's try and be efficient about this. Let's try and do this quickly. So perhaps, yeah, Zelor goes up to the front, and Leovin takes his rat form, and he goes toward the back of the ship, and maybe there's like a, you know, I just love the image of like a rope that's like going from the dock like all the way to the ship, and then little Leovin rat is just like just going on the rope the whole way.
Sweet. So yeah, as Leovin's scuttling along, the Mission Impossible music playing as he finds out. Oh, I just realised that that's a very local cultural thing. Did you guys never get the advert? I think it was like a chocolate bar advert or something with the squirrel and the Mission Impossible music. No.
No, but
Hey, y'all give me just a second, right?
no, I believe it. I believe in what you're saying. I believe that
Great.
that happened.
Okay. So you scurry along the rope. Zelor, as whoever this person is, moving towards the ship with his familiar. Ellie, you've just like pulled a tarp away from Ein?
Well, I feel like he's gonna kind of blow our cover, so I might just leave him there. Can I'd like to know about what the boat actually looks like. So I think I'm gonna I'll go down onto the docks, but I'll kind of break away from the others and just sort of like, scope it out from afar, see if I can like kind of overhear any conversations of people anyone's getting off the boat or moving around the boat. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, this will be an investigation skill check. This will be either intelligence or wisdom, depending on. It'll be intelligence if you're wanting to go and like track down some information actively. Wisdom if you're wanting to try and like overhear conversations and work out where would be best to stand to overhear said conversations.
My wisdom's rubbish, so that's what I want to do.
then use wisdom. It's rubbish, but
But investigation is intelligent. Alright, 18. I don't get a plus.
18's still a good score. So you find a place to have a look at the dock, and you see that there is a small ship set up at the docks. You overhear, however, from a group of dwarves getting drunk at a bar that doesn't have an indoors section. It's more like a shack with an awning that's just serving drinks at this bar at the front. It's like a food van, but for beer. And these drunken dwarves are talking about how they'd better finish up their drinks. They're due at the Argonautica, which is going to set sail in about half an hour. One of them points towards the clock tower. One of the others asks, "Why is it setting off so soon? I thought you just got into port." And he says, "Well, the ship's just got into port, but I haven't. I've been here waiting for the ship for ages. And apparently there's some important cargo that needs to just quickly resupply and move on." And then he points to his ship, the friend that he's drinking with, confusing the small ship at the dock for the Argonautica, and instead he points past the small ship at the dock to the larger ship offshore that is anchored but not parked up at the dock. This ship is about 400 feet long. It has 6 masts. It is a behemoth of a ship.
That's the Argonautica?
That's the Argonautica.
Holy
Okay.
funk, dude.
We misunderstood the situation. Oh my god. Okay. Can I? So right at this point that I hear this and put this together, has Laven already made his way onto this small boat? Yeah.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and then but did I see Zello when he changed into what he looked like now? So I could I pick him out of the crowd or?
We'll say yeah.
Okay. Can I go and try and find him? Quite quickly, I think.
Yep, you'll be able to do so.
Alright, yeah, so I was like kind of rush through this crowd. Trying not to look like I'm rushing, but I'm rushing. And eventually find Zeller and kinda like tug on his sleeve, like, bad news. But yeah.
What can I do for you, miss?
Alright, can I in Thieves Camp? Because it says. But I'm going to do it normally. So, the little boat that Laven and you're familiar around that's not the boat. The boat's the one out there, and I point to like the really, really big one. And so is it the little boat that's leaving in half an hour for the big boat?
Yes.
Oh, so you're saying that the... Let me see if I can figure out how I was going to put this. The infection's on the wrong foot then. All right. Well, let's let the doc know and see if he can start to take a look at the other.
Okay.
It's pretty good
Okay, I'm
code.
slightly
Pretty good code.
Thieves' Cant is just a language about making whatever you're talking about sound like something entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, right, okay. How far away was the tavern that we're at?
The tavern is at the top of a hill, leading down towards the docks. So it's about 50 feet away.
Okay, I think we either need to find a way to get across the sea to get to that boat, or we need to get on the little boat before it sets sail to the big boat. What do you think?
This is what Ellie's saying to...
In code, but I Something about I think we need to remove the other foot before we take a look at the person's foot. I don't know.
Zellar gives her a look. I think chopping off the wrong foot might be a bad idea. Instead, maybe we should look at. You're trying to say we should meet up at the inn again, right? Or the tavern again?
No, I'm trying to say I think we need to find a way to get on. We either need to get on the small boat to take us to the big boat and sneak on, or we need to find a way across, like, the sea to the big boat. And we also need to let Laven know.
Yeah. I think that my priest friend can get a hold of the doctor, and then we'll be able to hitch a ride over to the other church. And there we can do a proper surgery. You getting what I'm saying? Right.
So
No.
I I was looking at all the rulings and everything, and I think like it makes sense that you would be able to use like the sending stones to send a message to Laven while he's in his wild shape.
Mhm.
I don't think he could use the stone to like respond while he's in the wild shape.
Right.
But with sending, it even says this thing about how like a creature with an intelligence of 1 can uh, hear the message, and a rat has an intelligence of 2. So I'm just over that. I'm just over that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that works, especially for expediency of the current situation.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll take out the sending stone then. What are they like? Is there a word limit on it? Oh,
Say it again.
is there a word limit? On
A
the
word
sending?
limit, 25 words.
Um.
25 is pretty good. It's a lot of words, relatively.
Yeah. Probably don't even need that many.
Wrong boat. It's the big
Yeah.
one.
Basically. Wrong boat. It's the big one.
Mm-hmm. I guess the biggest thing to clear up is like, do you want him to try and go over there immediately, or do you want to try and rendezvous with him?
I think we need to meet up again
Word.
because we've got half an hour. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah, maybe come back out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, so he'll get the message, and then he'll kind of squeak around a little bit. Maybe he'll get distracted by some crumbs that are over in the corner that he really wants to go nibble, but his rat brain is trying to take over, but he's like, "Oh no, I got the message," and he'll scramble, and he'll try and find that exact same rope that he came in on to go out on.
And I would have, of course, told my familiar to return.
Cool. So you'll all be together, right next to the boat. Is that where we want to be?
Maybe somewhere a little more inconspicuous, so Leovan can turn back into Leovan.
Yeah, there's nothing as bizarre as a rat just turning into a human in the middle of a dock.
Elf.
Elf. Hume elf. That's what it's said. That's what we call half elves nowadays. That's what the dwarves have always called them.
Weird.
Those old Hume elves.
Weird.
What do they think they're doing? You probably should just stick with your own kind when it comes to mating.
Wow.
You can easily find a gap between two buildings very close to the dock.
Sweet.
There's a warehouse and several small shops right next to the docks to quickly sell to sailors as they walk by.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an alleyway where at the far end you can see someone sleeping off a heavy amount of self-medication after a leg amputation from gangrene.
Damn.
Which you can smell from down the alleyway.
Mm.
But other than that, it's private.
Wow. Laven will almost enjoy the gross smell of the alley while he's still in his rat form, and then change back into his elf form and maybe give a little bit of a wince, like, oh, gross. I got your message. We had the wrong information from the start, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah. So the little boat that you got on seems to be taking people over to the big boat. So we can either try and get on the small boat. We've got about half an hour until it leaves. Probably a bit less now. We can try and get onto the small boat before it leaves, and that will take us over there. Or I don't know. We could maybe try find a way just to get over to the other boat, but I don't know how far away through is the big boat.
The bigger boats, about 800 feet offshore.
Right, okay.
And we're in a place that's in the western side, prominently dwarven, right?
Yes.
All right.
But because of the sort of high seas island nature of it, it's a colony that doesn't really strongly adhere to like their local laws and customs.
Right. It's not just dwarves, but it is still predominantly dwarves.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I'll take off my hat and I'll hand it to Ellie and I'll say, not that it'll matter too much right now, but I think I'll have an easier time fitting in than you will. You might as well use this and make yourself all dwarfy.
Oh, okay. I'll put it on and turn into a dwarf.
Just a dwarf version of Ellie.
Yeah.
Dwelly.
Leovan keeps stroking his chin, and the wrinkles on his face crease even more as he squints and casts his eyes up and down the docks from where they are in the alley, and he's going to do a let's call it I don't know, a perception check. Just makes sense. He's going to do a perception check. He is going to be scanning for any smaller vessels, like not quite a dinghy, but not like a lifeboat size, but something that's like, I don't know,
Yeah.
a bit bigger, a bit sturdier, could be a bit faster. He's gonna try and look for something like that. And he rolled a 17 plus a 7 is 24 perception.
On a rocky bit of cove to the left of the docks, you see that there is a captain's yacht that is being stacked with crates. Obviously something that they didn't want the warehouse porter to know. And it looks like they're nearly done, and it's about to cast off back towards the large ship. That's the only other ship that is anchored.
Laven will point a crooked finger over there and say, if we can commandeer a vessel like that, I could perhaps mask our approach, and we can stealthily approach the larger ship.
Sometimes it's easier to just hide in plain sight. Why don't we just grab a few boxes and make ourselves look like we were supposed to be there? Get on that ship ourselves. I mean, you can just turn into a rat. That'll be easy enough.
Indeed.
Sounds easier than trying to get rid of whoever is in control of that other boat.
Right?
Okay, so heading towards the schooner then, the smaller, sort of 80-foot boat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so what's his butt, Leovan, can change back into a rat, use another use of wild shape, and he can stay as a rat for up to 3 hours. And he'll tell Ellie, if you must talk to me again, the stone.
Yeah. Got it.
And he'll go. Yeah. I'm sorry, continue. Just wanted to make a big rat deal out of that.
Not at all. It's absolutely fine. Okay, so we've got rat, we've got dwarf, we've got other dwarf, and we've got familiar rat. All heading towards the ship. Zelor and Ellie, are they both grabbing boxes? I mean, there's plenty of boxes just sort of laying around.
Yeah.
How is there a really, really big box? Is there an owlbear-sized box? 'Cause I don't
Yeah.
fit behind.
There isn't one just laying around, but you could check with the warehouse.
How would I do that? As in, like, would I have to ask someone, or could I just go and kind of?
Yeah, you could go and ask someone at the warehouse, or you could try and just get in and have a look around. In terms of the recovery plan, ideal, you found your mentor, where you would go after that is in about a week's time at this port, a ship is supposed to come by and pick you guys up. You will know it as the Tranquility. Emily assured you that it would come and pick you guys up in the harbour.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I should try and take him or not. But would you guys like advise not to if Ellie was like, oh, I don't want to take Ainz, but
An owlbear-sized box would need help from the ship to get on.
Yeah.
You'd need like the shipboard sort of winch crane thing.
okay,
Um,
I'll just leave him then.
It might be time to leave him behind this time. What is it again? Iron?
Ainz, yeah. That's what you get for picking something really big.
Right. He'll have his uses, but stealth isn't his strong suit.
Probably, sorry, 2 seconds.
1, 2.
Yeah, no worries.
I mean, for me to be impatient with how many times I've had to like step away for a second. I need to get Kleenex.
Look, I'm just being a rat over here, man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing. I can just be a rat, while I'm a rat. So, I mean, I think it's okay to leave Monsieur Owlbear, Agner in, there, because, I mean, there's still plenty of cool shit that Ellie has access to without having the Iron Defender around.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
As long as we're coming back and stuff.
Yeah, and that should be the objective too, is to come back because we need to hang with the Tranquility crew.
To be fair, I can just build another one.
Oh, you could do that too.
Okay.
Egner 2.0,
Yeah.
Egner 3.0. It'll just keep getting better versions until it's even better than Egner. The real Egner.
So what's Ellie doing?
Yeah, just grabbing a normal size box and fucking she's meant to be there.
Right. Climbing the plank up to the deck of the ship, you will be stopped by a dwarf in uniform. He's there with a clipboard and a piece of chalk and this black parchment. He's there just scoring things off. As he spots the two of you, he stops you both. What you doing there, mate?
We're delivering the final goods to this ship. What about you? What are you doing?
You've been dismissed, mate. You're supposed to wait for the return trip.
As weren't the orders I was given.
I can assure you, you won't be getting paid for this one.
Well, I'll take it up with the boss when the time comes.
I'll have a word with Captain Pillow, but you might be shoved onto a lifeboat and sent ashore.
Oh, Sonny. You do what you have to do.
Aye, mate. Well, get the boxes on, lad.
Right then.
He then scores off some more things on his chart as more boxes get brought on. Nothing gets said at all about Ellie.
Cool.
All right.
You then get a few crew members also carrying boxes, just nodding to Zelor, like, Gauziln? Gauziln! So yes, Gauziln seems to be the name of the form that you've taken.
So, just to be clear, we did sort of say before that Zella gave Ellie the hat, but...
Yes.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, we discussed that you've taken the form of a dwarf, but just like a dwarf version of Ellie.
Yeah, but is Zella used like a disguise kit or something like that?
Oh yeah, Zola's got a disguise kit. He
Alright.
definitely can, and it wouldn't be if it's a dwarven, town that's a port town. It wouldn't be unheard of for him to have already set up an alias here anyway.
Okay, I was just checking.
I don't know if that's what you're getting at there, Drew, but
Oh, that's a good point. I'd entirely forgotten that the hat also does, because I knew that you could disguise yourself.
oh right.
I'd operated on the assumption that you're still disguised as the deckhand.
Oh yeah, no, I gave Ellie that disguise hat.
Right.
Um,
In that case, they don't recognize you as that deckhand and
Oh.
do not greet you at all then. You will be entirely ignored by the lieutenant.
Hmm. Oh, okay. I would have an alias in this part of town under my disguise. But it probably would be just more of a in case anybody ever went back and checked the paperwork situation rather than someone people would recognize because I don't spend a lot of time here.
Okay. You'll notice that essentially any new faces he's not checking.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah.
That's terrible.
Instead, we'll replace that interaction with a drunk Galziln as he tries to get back on board the ship behind you.
Oh,
You'll overhear that, and he gets past.
I'll look at Ellie, and be like, "That's kind of a good thing I switched disguises then, eh?"
Right. You guys are aboard the ship, including Leovin. There's not a lot in the way of rats here. You see a couple of bits of evidence that there are other rats somewhere, but they're hiding out in far cooler places than you can find.
He's gonna attempt to go up to some like little rafters, like kind of, I don't know, just some little boards that are like above. He figures that'd be a better hiding spot if he can manage to get up there.
Sweet. Yeah, you'll be able to get up there, no problem. There's no one in the crow's nest. There is a platform set up. It seems obvious that this isn't designed for like long voyages or anything. It is just a platform to stand on. There's no like railing or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got a complete view of the deck. It looks like they're about to push off. The plank has got two people stood by it with hands on either side. There's a few people walking up it that you can see. You can also see across to the other ship, the Argonautica. It is massive, and some of the sails are being raised. It looks like they're getting ready to go as quick as they can.
Well, shit.
But I mean, this boat's destined to get there, though, isn't it? They're going to go.
Yes,
and...
yeah, they're
Yeah.
not going to get away without you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
basically it's going to be like a quick drop off of crew, and then they're setting sail.
Yeah, I'm just like thinking in the future, like once we do what we do, like do we just need
How
to
do we get
steal a
back?
lifeboat and get back? I mean, I'll tell you guys just like strategy wise what Leovin was suggesting earlier is that we use that he cast like pass without a trace and somehow like use that to give us a stealth check. Like, I don't know. That's like the only thing that I have that I thought could be useful or whatever. So if we're in like a lifeboat and I use pass without trace, like maybe we could get away sneakily, perhaps. It might be
Yeah.
our only option out.
That's really cool, because then you wouldn't leave a wake in the water either.
Ooh,
That'd be really cool. Because you don't leave any
Yeah.
sign of...
of passing, yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a fun little thing to mess about with if we get to there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on the ship. Anchor gets lifted. The plank gets brought fully on board. Most of the crew stays on top of the deck. Down below, there's a small cabin with a half dozen hammocks. There's about a dozen crew members on the ship. And on the level below that, you've got the cargo hold where most of the boxes have been stowed. It looks like it's entirely like food supplies and water rations. The ship sets sail. You've got a few rowers as well helping get the ship in the right direction. And they move up next to the Argonautica. The Argonautica is massive. The entire height of this ship gets only up to the deck of the Argonautica. There are a series of ladders dropped down for the crew, and then you hear this massive grinding as a wheel on the top of the deck starts turning. These huge chains start getting dragged up from the ocean floor. First one behind the small ship that you're on, and then another the other side at the front. And then slowly the ship itself is raised up. And then it's locked parallel with the main ship, the Argonautica. This is basically a ship platform that you've been raised up on. So just like most vessels have lifeboats, this one has the captain's yacht on the rear, a few lifeboats, and a schooner attached to the side of it. The
That's
sails.
wild.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just saying
gonna
that's
say,
wild. Go ahead.
Can I? You're not supposed to describe it, sorry. But I would like to be taking like note of how those mechanisms work on the platform, just so like I can be starting to like kind of coming up with an escape plan, like mechanically. If there's anything, I know that if I like jam something else
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'll establish that. The lieutenant on this ship is barking orders. A few people approaching him, so you learn that his name is Lieutenant Jar, and that the captain of the Argonautica is Captain Pylor. The ship gets brought all the way to the top. The sails are unfurled on the Argonautica, and immediately you feel this yanking as the ship sets sail. It's relatively narrow for the size that it is, and it's got a fair clip to it. After about 10 minutes, you are pulling away at a rate of knots. You're going quite quickly, and the island is disappearing into the distance. Only after the speed has started getting up are some planks set up between the two ships, as the boxes were being brought up from the hold of one and being placed onto the Argonautica. And everyone is encouraged to help bring the boxes up from the bottom. So Zelor and Ellie, you can either try to sneak away onto the main ship, the Argonautica, or you can volunteer to help with the crates.
Zelar, without much word, just kind of assuming Ellie's intel, will start helping with the crates, and then once on the Argonautica, he's going to find a place to stow away until. Well, actually, once we are on the ship, I'm going to turn to Ellie and say, "So do we find your mentor, get him on the other ship, and then get out of here, or do you think we should stow away here until this other ship leaves?"
Well, I think we're just gonna have to, because we're just gonna have to find him and get him out. I think. Do we have any idea how far away this boat is going? Like where it's bound?
Nope.
I mean, we could ask around and see subtly ask around and see, how long they're expecting the journey to be. Because I guess if we could try to get to the other side, it might be easier to get somewhere on land, wherever it docks. But if we're at sea for the next week, we probably need to get him now.
Right. Maybe I'll go check with the captain and see if he wants us to stay on, and where the Argonautica is destined to, and then that'll give us a plan for where to go from here.
Good idea.
So yeah, I will. While I guess just having Ellie continue with box shuffling. I'll go and approach. Oh, good.
Yeah. I was wondering about having her kind of saying that she's like a mechanic for the boat. It says that she needs to so she can try and get down into the boat and kind of tinker around with things and maybe come across, maybe get oh, I'm a new mechanic. They've just hired me on this. I've not been on this boat before. I need a map. I need to know where all of the engine rooms and stuff or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know how boats. TV probably doesn't really have mechanical stuff, but they are also
there is the bosun though. The bosun is the person on the ship who is in charge of all the technical aspects and the repairs and stuff like that. So you could say I'm like the new bosun, or the bosun's assistant, or something like that. Yeah, that would be a legit thing on a boat that you could reference.
Yeah, and that might get me in places.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Maybe. Let's try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's worth a try.
Yeah, so this this whole time, Laven's made his way over to the rigging of the Argonautica, and he is just kind of keeping an eye on Zelor and Ellie. And I don't know, he might not, like, if Zelor goes to do something by himself, he might not like follow him. But if Ellie goes off into some place where she's out of sight, then Laven will follow Ellie.
Mhm.
Okay.
And as an afterthought, realizing we hadn't talked about this, it probably should be Levin's job to figure out um, where Ellie's master is at.
Oh yeah, Comedes, yeah. Well,
Immediately.
yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, instead of like trying to rendezvous and talk again, yeah, he'll just start scurrying. He's kind of on borrowed time with the wild shape anyway, so he's going to start scurrying as stealthily as he can and try and get a layout of the ship and just try and find Comedes.
Right. So, Laven, give me an investigate check.
I am a rat.
Yeah,
Rat power.
Intelligence or wisdom.
It's gonna be wisdom.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. No, not investigate. Survival. You're trying to track someone down. So
It is true.
Yeah.
I'm good at survival. Oh, another 17 plus 7 is 24 survival. I'm fucking nailing it with Laven this session. It's about time he did some cool shit. It's about time.
Right. Okay, and sorry, specifically, what were Zelor and Ellie landing on as the things that they were going to be doing?
Well, Zelor was going to go talk to Lieutenant Gear and see about the journey for the Argonautica and whether or not he. And I'm going to try to make up some kind of title, like I'm thinking maybe an assistant cook might be a fitting thing for him.
Okay.
And if his presence is needed on the Argonautica for the trip, or if he should be returning. Then Ellie, go ahead and I'll let you talk.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and kind of get away with saying that I'm an assistant there to like help with the mechanical stuff of the working of the ship. But like to do it, she'd be like saying all like I don't know, talking about like boat facts and stuff in depth. But I don't know that stuff. But she'd be like, you know, the mechanical, how a boat works, why it needs maintenance. Like until someone basically just like, all right, just go. Stop talking to me about boats. So.
Okay, so both of you are approaching the lieutenant from the schooner.
Are we not on the? Are we not already on the Argonautica?
Yeah, you're already on the Argonautica. So is the lieutenant.
I'm just gonna go to like the actual.
The bozeman.
Yeah, I might just go straight to the actual bosun guy of the Argonautica.
Okay, so you'll need to find out who that is.
I loudly ask around about it. It's like, I need to see the bosun.
You'll get some surly, round woman who's there, like pushing some wheel gear mechanism round. She'll poke her head up. Who's asking?
I need new name. Very good name. I'm the new hired assistant to help with the workings of the ship.
Unaware of any new assistants?
Oh, it's a last minute thing. They had to track me down. It was a last minute thing.
All right. Grab the end of this. We'll wrap this up. And she continues grabbing onto this handle and pushing this gear around.
Okay, I'll help.
As you're pushing this around. You can hear the grinding of several gears, but you can't see the mechanism that's going around. And you can see her staring at you, looking you up and down.
I'll just start chatting about like how this mechanism works and how annoying it was this time when it broke on this other boat I was on once, and how it took like 3 days to fix, and we were stuck in the middle of the sea and we nearly ran out of rations, and kind of just try and talk until she stops looking at me.
She keeps her eyes locked on you, stops, and then bangs her hand on the handle. Don't you dare, love. I swear, if the captain wants rid of me, he can just bloody well go and see it, can't he? Oh, no. I'm not being replaced on my ship. This is my ship. Oh, no. You and me, we're going to talk to the captain right now.
I honestly, I'm just, it's...
Oh, no. I know you're just caught in the middle, love, but I'm not having this. All right? The captain's trying to replace me. The captain can take it up with me. Come on.
He's not trying to replace you. He's not trying to replace you. I needed passage to the other side. And, you know, he just came in, one of the ship hands. Oh God, this is going badly. This is where I'm glad there's rolls for this.
Would you like to make a deception roll?
Yep.
Go on.
That would be a crit.
Nice.
Thank God, because
Super nice.
You could be recommended by sous chef Recondis.
I'd say that.
Sous chef Recondis is Zaylor's alias in this area, who he's taken a lot of time into like getting the name out there. But as far as like as a person, he's very absent.
Okay. So I say that, and like I'm not even like gonna be on here more than this trip. It's just I needed to get from here to there, and they just happen to, you know, need help, a little bit extra help on this trip because there's so much new cargo, so much more things to go wrong. There's apparently some really important cargo on the ship. I mean, they've not really told me much about it, but I think they just wanted to make sure.
Will they, love? No, if you're not here for the long haul, you ain't learning nothing. You stay up here. You're my assistant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be no one telling you different, neither. She throws out her hand. You can see it's coated in oil and grime. She's obviously not washed it in at least a day. And she introduces herself as Rillan.
I shake the hand. I feel like I wouldn't be too put off by that, because I think Ellie probably has had, you know, weeks where she's just been in the workshop and kind of forgotten about, like, washing hands and all that kind of thing. So.
She then informs you that now that they've sorted getting the 3 anchors all the way up with this mechanism, that they need to go down below and go and check on the cargo. She will check the cargo. You are going to check the propeller.
Okay.
So she then takes you down below. Zelor, having found the lieutenants and introducing himself as the chef.
Sous chef Recondis?
Yes. So you've
Sous
spent
chef
time
Recondis.
setting this all up. I would like you to make a deception check with advantage.
Okay.
He's going to have heard the name somewhere.
Okay. Let's see. Skills. Looking for deception is a +4. That is spells. There we go. Yeah. So with a deception roll of 14, I will approach him and, Lieutenant Gier, I am sous chef Recondis, reporting for duty. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be assigned to the Argonautica long term, or if I'm only here to give a hand.
The captain will be announcing who's where at the chime of the bell. We want to be properly underway before we greet all the new people on board. Just listen for the bell, you'll be assigned in due time.
Ah, right. You understand I'm fairly busy and have a lot to be done with my own restaurant, and it is a favor for me to be here. Could you tell me where exactly the Argonaut is headed, and how long is this journey going to take? I need to know what to let my chefs, my underlings, know, so they can keep things going in my absence, if that is my
Oh,
assignment.
mate, you're making this hard. We're sailing for about a 5 day. And then
Right.
when we get to our destination, well, we're just going to be dropping off a few more crew, picking up some more supplies, and off on our way. If you're staying for the long haul, you best be looking forward to a few weeks.
Ah, well, thank you, Lieutenant Gear. You have been very helpful. You do understand. I'd mean no inconvenience to you. I just have another business to run as well, and I have to make sure things are going as they should be while I am gone.
He's about to say something which you can tell is him slightly dropping the attitude, and just as he's about to say something, someone else runs up, grabs his arm, and asks him a question that is insane because he's holding the mop in his hands. He is asking where the cleaning supplies are, and he's got it in his hands. The lieutenant does not have the patience for this and drags him towards the bucket and almost throws this dwarf into the bucket.
Wow.
I think Zelor will step up and he'll pull this dwarf up by the scruff of his neck and look him dead in the eye and say, "Don't you understand how to do your job, deckhand? Don't you see that the lieutenant here is quite busy? He has to tell every single one of you how to do your jobs every single second. You didn't get hired on here for your brains. So figure out where the mop is. Take your goddamn hands. Next time you ask him a question like this, I'm going to throw you overboard myself. Do you understand?"
He nods wide-eyed and just starts mopping the floor, even though the bucket's been spilled over. He's just mopping. The lieutenant starts to turn to walk away, stops himself. I'll be visiting the galley later. I'll look forward to trying your meals, sous chef.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overstep your station. I deal with a lot of incompetence myself. It's part of owning a restaurant.
Not at all. Not at all. You carry on.
Thank you, sir. And I'll give him a dwarven salute and be on my way. Do I have a sending stone, or do we just give those to?
I think it's just Ellie and Leovin if you've just got the two of them.
Cool. In that case, I'm going to take a second, write down a little note in Thieves' Cant, in code, of course, and give it to my rat, and give it instructions to deliver this to Ellie. And it's going to be just the length of the journey, and this might be about a 2-week trip, and we should probably find comedies and
Comedies.
get off the ship sooner rather than later, unless we want to get stuck. But also, I don't know the location. I wasn't told where we were docking.
No. The lieutenant will tell you locations. It's not something I've prepped. So locations were given. Places that you'll...
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's not like a secret. It's just not something that was prepared.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
But,
Cool.
but the point is that it's far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not somewhere we want to get stuck at for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's deeper into the territory.
Okay.
Leovin,
Leovin.
you got a 24. You start scurrying down into the ship, and you find this ship, from a rat's point of view, fascinating. Rather than most ships that you've seen, especially the schooner, where it's simple boards dividing separate areas, there are wooden panels separating gaps between rooms. It's as though these are specifically set out to hide things. And you're finding that there are pipes, there are moving bits of metal that are moving around each other and touching each other and bashing against things. It's very loud, but when you move out from these panels, it's quite a bit quieter. You can still hear the sort of clunking and moving of various parts, and inside it smells of very rich oils, like something that you'd smell in some sort of like a perfumer's shop or something to make expensive candles. It's not usual for this kind of place. You also find zero evidence of other rats. You seem to be the only one in town here. So the schooner had a couple at some point, but you couldn't find any of them. This one, there's no pre-made holes and gaps. You're needing to gnaw through the wood yourself. There's no droppings or leavings. You don't even smell another. But you do find that 2 decks down, there are a series of private quarters with locked doors. And underneath the door of one of them, you smell the distinct scent of not a dwarf, but a human.
And Comedes is human.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take special note of where it is. It's 2 decks down from the top deck?
Yes.
2 decks down from the top deck, and I'll kind of try and get an idea of, like, okay, it's kind of in the middle, or I'll even, like, think of these directions and say, once you get down the stairs, you know, it's going to be, like, the 5th room on your left, or whatever it is. I'll just commit that. And, you know, he could try and be thorough about it and just make sure that there are no other humans, that, you know, maybe there's 2 humans and maybe this is the wrong human. He might not really go that far. He'll just have a gut feeling and be like, well, this has got to be our human.
I'd say while in rat form, for you to gnaw through the wood enough for you to squeeze through would only take about 5 minutes to make a hole. Because rats' bodies like squeezed out quite a bit anyway.
It's true.
So it's not going to take a large amount of time, but you know, it would add up the amount of time spent. I'd say you probably spent a good 3/4 of an hour, maybe a whole hour already searching the ship so far.
He's not sure if he wants to, like, really do the confirmation right now or whatever. No, that's not gonna be sensible. It's not sensible. It's just not sensible.
Cool.
All right, he's just going to scurry off, and he's gonna have the confidence that I just found the right human. Cool. And because he's getting really freaked out that there's no other rats. So they must really not like rats on this ship, and I don't know, he's just got this paranoid thing of like, oh man, they're gonna fucking discover me any moment now. They're hunting down all sorts of rats on this ship, dude.
When you decide to leave, are you heading back to the top deck, yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna just try and essentially just find Ellie, you know? Just try and find Ellie.
Okay. Well, you got a 24 on your survival check, so we'll keep using that, and you catch her scent as you're ascending, and you realize that she's gone down below deck. As you're heading on your way down to catch up to Ellie, everyone will hear a bell chiming. You hear 3 long, slow rings of a bell, which is echoed by other bells on the ship that repeat the sequence. And then Rilan says to Ellie, "Don't you be bothering with that. You're here with me."
What is that bell for?
Roll call.
Ah. Do you get me to go to it?
All the new crew get broken in. The rest of us are fine.
Okay.
So she's escorting you down some very, very narrow corridors near the bowels of the ship. And you can hear this very loud thumping sound get louder and louder. She then opens a very heavy set door, heavier than a lot of the other cabin doors that you've gone through so far. And on the other side is a walkway. Around this walkway, this walkway is around a massive turbine, which is moving round and round, propelling the boat forward.
Sick. Steam
she's,
power. Back, yeah.
She's given you a couple of tools, one of which you recognize, one of which you don't, and she points out to you a small box to the side, a little cabinet, where there are sliding doors, and inside of which there are some of the more essential smaller gears going from the engine to these drivers moving the turbine. And she's telling you to just check them over, and anything that needs oiling, oil it.
Okay.
To make a note of any decay. She goes to the hold, one deck down.
Right.
You can see that there's another walkway below you, one deck down as well.
Right. Can I? So once she's like kind of left the room and sort of gone downstairs, can I kind of? Is there any way I can kind of, keep an eye on where she's going?
You can try and sneak behind her.
From a distance. So my plan is that I want to try and wait. So I've got a plan, but I want to wait until she checks on some of the cargo. Like ideally, until she opens the box to check it. Is the cargo on the level she's gone down to just the stuff that's coming off of the other ships, or is this what was already on?
No, she's going down to a cargo hold that had other stuff there as well.
Right. I would like to ideally wait until she's opened the box and checking it, if that's what she's doing. But also long enough so it looks like I've been checking the gears and stuff. So.
Okay. So you head down after her. Zelor, you get to the kitchens as the bell goes off. A few of the chefs wander past you, heading up to the top deck for roll call, where they'll get to meet the captain. Would Zelor go up as well, or is he going to stay down in the kitchens?
I think this would be the time that Zellar would attempt to regroup with everyone while the rest of the crew is all in one space. So I would take a second and check on my rat's site, see where it's at. Has it found Ellie yet with the note?
It is on its way down below into the bowels of the ship. You can see that it is behind another rat.
Okay. Do I recognize that rat as being Laven?
You recognize that rat's butt.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I got that best rat butt you ever did see, dude. Shapely.
I don't believe I can communicate through the rat, so there's no way for me to talk to him. So in that case, while everyone else is up there, I'm gonna go see if I can find a spot that seems like it'll be a safe enough place for us to rendezvous, and then make our plan and move from there.
Okay.
And I think at this moment we have to go fast because we want to. Zellar's plan is to be having to get committees and get back on the ship before roll call finishes.
What is Zelor's passive perception?
I almost reached for a character sheet. It is perception 16.
Higher than I thought. In that case, you will immediately recognize in the galley, as the new chefs push past, working in the galley, currently washing dishes, are two figures that you recognize. That we've not mentioned directly on screen. You know these as Frakwan and Dinov. These two are people that you helped charter a ship for some while ago as a request. And for some reason, this ship was nothing to do with what you'd organized, but enough time has passed since you organized it that they could theoretically have gone somewhere else, got onto this ship, and then have been working since.
Do they seem to notice me at all?
They haven't noticed you yet.
All right. Let me just take a second to think this through. It would blow my cover to introduce myself to them, but it could potentially blow their cover as well. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Hmm.
Okay. Being that it's the life of a criminal to sort of not really go about getting involved in each other's stuff unless you have reason to, I think that noting them, like just taking my mental note of being aware that they're there, I'm going to leave, but without them noticing me.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll a stealth check.
Yes, please.
Ooh. I mean, not a great roll, but I have a pretty decent bonus to my stealth. It's 15.
Got 14. So they don't notice as you sneak away.
You could, in theory, roll with advantage because there are two of them.
There are. You know what? It'll be fun to see
Tempting.
if one of them notices. 13.
Ah!
No.
All right. I'm imagining I'm like, walking through the kitchen, and then I see everyone leave, and then I like turn a corner and see them standing there at their back to me washing dishes, and then like slowly take steps backward.
And then one of them like stops washing, looks, and that you're not there, and then turns back, and you just like quickly run across the gap. But yeah, so you are moving on to rendezvous. Ellie is going to start sneaking towards the hold. Leoben is on his way to meet up with Ellie, and then you hear frantic bell ringing. You can hear it faintly at first, but then as more bells on the lower decks start getting run in response to it, running out of the cargo hold, looking left and right down the corridors, and then charging back towards the steps. Ellie, give me a quick stealth check.
Okay. Oh,
Who was
21.
who was charging? Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh, sorry, Rilan.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
She does not notice Ellie and starts charging up a different set of stairs, obviously rushing to get to Ellie, but you can hear her shouting as she's rushing up, "Storm! Storm coming!" And you can hear in the distance the crew up on the top deck shouting, "Lower the anchors! Batten down the hatches, lads!"
Oh, shit.
And we are going to stop for our break there.
All
That's
right.
gonna cause a problem.
It's going to be a problem, dude. Ugh, the perfect storm. Oh, gosh.
All right.
All right. Thanks
We'll
for joining
see you shortly
us.
after our break.
See you shortly. We'll be right back. Right back.